apologize. All right, hello. Now this time we're going to keep working on the TOML decoder project, and when we left off, we have finished most of the features we think so far we needed. I'm a little curious about this. Hold on. Decoder.playground. Okay, it was ignored, right? What's in here? Okay, so we have, I think, most of the features we needed for a decoder. Now, this is only the very beginning of the project because we still need to make it work for all kinds of package managers. We still need to test it on Linux. We still need to make a release, like a CocoaPods and all that stuff. And then after that, there's documentation, there's licenses and things like that. So I guess this will be the purpose for this part of the work that you're watching right now. So I'm going to push all this up. And yeah, we'll start with running the tests on Linux. Actually, we'll start with some organization because right now, if you just look at the structure, sorry, I don't know why I typed source. If you just look at the structure of the project, it has one source file and one test file. I think the test part makes some sense, but the source part could be organized better. Yeah, it has 800 lines, has a number of comments, and is one file. So let's change that. So let's open that one file. And let's take stock at what's in here. So this guy is the main public interface. And this file is rightfully this codes. Okay. I'm going to delete all the appearance of internal because that's the default. I'm going to delete type mismatch. I'll keep it. Okay. So this belongs to a file of its own. How about decoding error plus extensions? And this file belongs to Oh, interestingly, most of the stuff that's declared as file private, um, mm, hmm, I'm changing my mind. I think everything being one file is not that bad. The reason is being in one file has an advantage of it basically it itself is a feature. It enables people to deploy to include the code like just this file as part of their code base as opposed to include a whole folder, which is not a huge difference, but it has. And if the alternative of making it internal will not achieve the same thing. So I'm just gonna abandon all changes. Yeah. All right. So in the make file right now is the most simplistic version. I'm inclined to just take one from my previous project, TOML deserializer. Oh. So we have make, build, test, Xcode, which really don't need it anymore. We have things that refers to Linux, which requires, which we'll copy over. Various things, local pods, message. Yeah, all this requires a Xcode project to make. Let's start with Linux support. So again, I'll just copy this folder over, and inside is a bunch of scripts. Oh. In the scripts, there will be references to TOML deserializer, which we will replace. And this last bit, so this script goes into the package.resolved file, and it actually looks at all the repositories it can find in there, and then it will go through and clone each repository, check out the correct revisions according to the resolved files, and then delete all the XC scheme, shared XC schemes in their Xcode projects. The reason we need to do this is because we'll have a ceremonial Xcode project where we we check in as part of the project and use it for either running the debugger if we need it, or more importantly, I guess, for Carthage support, so that Carthage can go in and find the main framework target. But for now, be able to test Linux Docker, right? Wait, make test Docker. Oh, I need to run Docker. Docker is launching, Docker is running. Slightly out of date now that Swift 4.2.3 came out for Linux, and you also need to update that. So now this test you just saw are ran inside Docker, and it passed, which is great. Sure that it will. It wasn't a given. Okay, next up, we're going to need we have just ran the test on Linux. Oh, by the way, this is a fun one. Develop Docker. I always want my project to have this. Without going into details, Linux machine with the top level object being the project, and I can work here, which is pretty awesome. I guess thing is CocoaPods. CocoaPod support. I just realized there's a bunch of issues in the project I'm copying stuff from. I wonder if it's because... Uh-oh. That's not great. For example, This description is wrong. Okay. How should I describe this package in CocoaPods? So we're doing TOML decodable support for TOML. I guess if you're using CocoaPods, you probably already anticipate, well, I guess. So decodable, should I say codable? How about this? Yeah. And the URL would be decoder. Oh. Should have done this in my file anyway. So we'll get a license here. This is me. This is me. These are the platform we will support. And again, the Git repository URL will be decoder.git version module name decoder. And it depends on net time as well as TOML deserializer. So make this nice-ish. And I guess if this fails, it could be because the repo is not public, but I have access to the repo. Looks okay though. I think he's compiling a sample project using this pod as a dependency on all 4 platforms it claims to support. And so far we haven't seen any errors, which leads me to believe that we will pass. Yeah, other than these warnings. We don't have the license. Let's fix that. License. It's just standard MIT license. We're in the year 2019 now. decoder. So let's run pod liblint again. I think after we finish the release, we will write. Well, first of all, README would be great. We will include a releasing steps document that I do for all my projects, and then we will write a detailed tutorial on how to use TOML in Swift and make it generally applicable. Warning, the URL is not reachable. Yeah, let's make it reachable. This is the moment. This is the moment. Open source so far is a lie, but after this point, it won't be. Include a license and pod spec. Yeah, the README is the interesting part. Decoder, Swift decoder, decodable. Hi, stream working. Going well. I finished the coding part of my project, and now I'm just writing some documentation so that I can make it open source, because right now it's private. How are you doing? Yep, so that's an example. I'm just opening up another README, and so that I can remember what I usually put in READMEs. Installation instruction is a good one. So we'll claim we support Carthage because we will. License. What else? I mean, that's probably good enough. And then I will write, well, first of all, I need to make this directory, dependencies. Okay. And I need to make a documentation directory. Well, later maybe. Nice. Video editing and motion graphic animations. I have no idea how to do any of that. Well, I know I do. I own Final Cut Pro, but I'm really bad at it. Nice. Okay. Where are we? So we added some README content. We added license. Yeah. Take releasing. Documentation. Decoder. Okay. So we technically have finished CocoaPod support. We support Swift PM. We can run tests on Linux. So now it's the big one. Now is the dragon for release a Swift open source project, which is to support Carthage. I mentioned earlier Carthage code project as the source of truth for patch management and dependency analysis, which is inconvenient for me because I don't really use Xcode. I have to just maintain a minimal version of Xcode project for. So what I'm doing right now is just copying another Xcode project over, and we're gonna swap out of things here. Wait, what's going on? Why is there a bunch of weird files in here? we probably want to ignore the same amount, same kind of stuff. Decoder dependencies, TOML deserializer. Okay. I believe so far all the occurrences of this string should be replaced. So we'll do it. Why is there another Xcode proj inside of here? Oh, I see. I see what happened. All right. Xcode complaints. It's fine. Close it. Deserializer. Unfortunately, I have a full-time job, so kind of like this is my hobby. This is how I relax. So I probably can't do freelancing. That seems really cool. Co-working. All right, so for each of this, TOML deserializer, TOML decoder. Now let's open it up. Thing I want to copy over. Resources. Okay, so let's open it up in Xcode. Yeah, this is not here, but that's fine because we can run make. We actually, what is it? Fetch dependencies. And if we look at the folder dependencies, we have two dependencies here. All right. And yeah, we've anticipated this being there, so we're already ignoring it. So now this is no longer empty, right? Yeah, there's actually stuff in here. So if I simply reopen Xcode, you can actually see the content, but this weren't there until we ran that fetch dependency command. And if I show in folder, yeah, it's inside. So now what I need to do is dragging this guy as well. And now I need to sort out the source files because none of these exist anymore in this project. And same thing. Be okay. Yep. This is wrong. This is wrong. TOML decoder, sources, decoder. We need this in here. TOML decoder, create groups, okay. And we need this guy in here. Come on. Scheme. TOML deserializer. Why would it call itself TOML deserializer? Okay, so we have net time here. Net time is, I believe, this guy. Okay, now we need to drag in this guy. For test dependencies, do I do similar things? I don't remember. Probably not, huh? So the target name is still wrong. Well, so if I go, oh. Yeah, it's this guy. Okay. So move it. Okay, TOML decoder depends on net time and TOML deserializer. TOML decoder project is also properly named. Serializer. And TOML deserializer is nowhere to be found. So presumably this is the correct state. I'm a little concerned that this is not there anymore. Um, did that fix it? Okay. So what happens if I attempt to run tests for TOML decoder? Oh, yeah. Mistake number 1. Target. Test pass. How about testing on the iPhone? Uh-oh. Another scenario where I need to build this first. And building it failed. Yeah, same thing. It's looking for nettime.swift.h. Why would it look for that? All right. Let's use old Xcode. On the Mac, everything is hunky-dory. We have built NetTime successfully. We have built TOML deserializer successfully. And then eventually we built TOML decoder, which depends on the previous two, and they all worked. We run tests, and test passed. Yeah, and these are the logs. Oh, I actually even ran tests from a different target. But these are our tests. Beautiful. Okay. But if I change platform, I do the same thing. Oh, what if I clean and run tests? Nighttime builds fine. TOML serializer does not build fine. Because it needs nighttime itself. What if I do it like this? Uh, 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 yeah, that is the reason. That is not, well, reason. I wouldn't call it reason, but that iPad. And we can't run tests on Apple Watch, unfortunately, but we can build. And it builds. So now the question is this reproducible? Meaning, if I go and delete these projects I cloned, now everything here is gone, and I make fetch dependencies, they will be back, but I mean, my change to, or would it remain the same? Oh my god, this is so fragile, but it works. This guy, Phantom Network Framework, but whatever changes I made to this Xcode project somehow remembered that change. Okay. Maybe I spoke too soon. Too soon. Yeah, I spoke too soon. That sucks. Need to keep this change. Version of TOML deserializer that does not embed nettime. And also it depends on nettime framework as a sibling as opposed to a child. Oh my god. So it worked with a TOML deserializer because it's one level of one level dependency. Now it's two level, and that's crazy. So one potential way to support it is checking the Xcode project file. But the downside of that is I have to version lock it with TOML serializer, which means it requires submodules, which also dictates how that project will have to structure itself. So that project probably need a workspace. And in the workspace, it will include its dependencies such that its Xcode proj file is dependency free for other Xcode proj. Then I can come over here and make another Xcode proj file. XC workspace. In this workspace will include all these projects, and it will work. That seems like the plan. So this is the TOML deserializer project, which we depend on. And we are going to have to make a workspace. It right now contains a Xcode project that's very similar to the one we were attempting to create, except this one actually works. As you can see, it can run Mac OS, run a test on the iPhone XR, and it will work. And it builds and tests successfully. And I guess my goal now is to get rid of this. So let's create a new workspace. Let's call it it's going to be in here. TOML deserializer.xc. Well, TOML deserializer XE workspace. We'll close this guy, right? And then we'll drag in the Xcode proj. We will delete this, remove references. We will create a group called dependencies. And we will drag in this guy. And for this target now, we get to include this product. And we will not share this scheme. So the result of that is these files. And so file. Actually, I'm interested in TOML deserializer, Xcode project. What's changed in here? Remove reference to nettime.xcodeproj. Add a reference to network.framework in framework. Bunch of updates to references. Okay. Let's run tests. Test all passed on Mac. Let's test on iPhone. Yep. So I have to update these guys as well, I believe. Instead of running project, I need to say workspace. Instead of running Xcode proj, it should be Xcode workspace. Everything else should remain the same, I believe. Now the real question is this reproducible? Dependencies, net time. Let's delete that guy. And let's make fetch dependencies. Let's run the test. It should work. Yeah. Nothing should have changed because of that. So let's put that in CI and see what happens. Commit. So we update our makefiles. We update the Xcode proj so that it doesn't reference the nettime libraries anymore. We create the workspace related artifacts. Workspace actually now have knowledge about the original one and then the one from the group and its other default set of settings. So given all this, when we switch back to Xcode TOML decoder, we should be able to pull in we'll see, because the reference to nettime is still hard coded in Xcode Proj, isn't it? Oh no, this is good because nettime.framework is just a thing in build productor, which I believe no matter where this file is, this will work. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm very interested in how that pull request goes as well. Swift PM test passed. No surprise there. Let's watch this iOS test. Oh, it already worked. That's good news. Encouraging news. So if this works, we'll bump the version, merge immediately, we'll skip the CI for bumping version pull request, pulling the version, and then we'll go back to releasing TOML decoder. Carthage starts, well, it hasn't started, I guess. I keep wondering how good is the actual like push updates for these tables in GitHub. I, for whatever reason, don't trust it to update in real time. Like somehow I think clicking like this helps. It's just some superstition, I guess. Okay, so these started as well. That's good. All right, I guess like in the meantime, while this is going, we can do some work. TOML decoder. All right. So we're going to remove direct reference to these projects. And we'll do a very similar thing where we create a new workspace. And we will drag this guy in. We'll create a group and call it the dependencies. Now in here, we will reference these subprojects and their products will be dependent upon by this target. Okay. We build and test. Test passed on macOS. We build and test for iPhone. Test passed on iPhone. Yes. So even without that previous change, this could work, right? Workspace, XE workspace. I need to be careful with my system resources. Things are pausing. What do I call it? TOML deserializer. So if I run make clean, it will delete all this stuff. So you make fetch dependencies. We'll do this. Clean. Better name would be a better name to call it TOML clean dependencies. And fetch dependencies is the counterpart. And we'll make this for lack of a better word, a dependency. So every time we do fetch dependencies, it's a clean first move. So we just restored the test immediately for iOS and the test passed. I think we should have done that earlier instead of going with the detour here. This is not strictly necessary, but it's a more generally applicable technique, I guess, to use a workspace. And workspace is really lightweight to your project anyways, so it's not terrible. I just need to remember in my head that I need to use XC workspace from now on. So we've added our license, we've added our Excel project, we've added our XC workspace. Yeah. Dare I run a Carthage archive or even test Carthage? So test Carthage really just builds the thing. Space, which is surprising because I don't remember actually fixing that. Yeah, all of this. Maybe we needed that change after all. So let's work on that. Yeah, this failed. It's task 65 though. Usually indicates the project itself failed to compile. Okay, fair. Okay, anyways, I think I'm going to stop the recording and possibly cut the stream as well, because which I hope is a new phenomenon, because watching the number to go up by 0.1% increase. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. And look out for the repository going public. If you find it after you watch this video, that means I succeeded. All right. Thank you very much.